Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen at home, and today's recipe is one that I'm dying to share with you because the other night I made some cookies, but I didn't want to make just chocolate chip cookies, that's kind of boring. So I raided the cupboards to see what I had lying around that I could put in my cookies, and I have created something that I like to call the trash can cookies, and this is there, and I'm going to show you how to make them now. So these cookies are absolutely delicious, and they start by using one of my favorite ingredients of all time, which is burnt butter. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I use it in lots of different recipes. We've even done a Tuesday tip on it with Dane, which is great. So I'm going to start by burning my butter, and I've got 225 grams of unsalted butter, and I'm going to take it to the hob. So this needs to go over a medium heat, and it's going to start by melting. You want to keep stirring it all the time because if you let it catch or let it bubble, it's not going to burn evenly. So once it's started to melt, just keep stirring it and wait for it to go lovely and brown and nutty. Okay, my burnt butter is looking lovely and golden, and there's all these lovely little bits of nuggety burntness at the bottom, so that is just right, but it is super duper hot. So I'm going to just pour it into this bowl and leave it for at least half an hour until it's nice and cool, sort of room temperature. So my brown butter is cooled down to room temperature now, so I can start making my cookie dough. And I'm going to begin by putting 2 large eggs in, as well as 2 egg yolks. And then to that I'm going to add 200 grams of dark brown sugar and 160 grams of caster sugar. And then just using a whisk, just whisk that all together. And what we're looking for here is just a really thorough combination. So we're not trying to make it pale or fluffy or anything like that, just a really well combined. And once you've done that, you can switch from a whisk to a spatula just to fold the rest of the ingredients in. So I'm going to start by folding in 360 grams of plain flour, and also 3/4 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder and a good pinch of salt. And once that's all thoroughly folded in, the exciting bit happens, which is to add all the additional stuff. So you can use whatever you like, but to give you an idea to start with, I'll tell you what I'm putting in my cookies. So I'm going to start with 60 grams of crispy M&Ms. I've got 100 grams of dark chocolate chips, 60 grams of salty crisps, and 60 grams of pretzels, and also 200 grams of my favorite thing, which is caramelized white chocolate. I've already had this made in my fridge and it's ready to go, but it's really easy to make, and we did a Tuesday tip recently on it, and it's so good to add to things like this. So definitely check that out so you can make some. So basically just add it all in, crunching up the crisps and the pretzels, and stir it all around. So it is looking pretty hilarious right now with all these chunky bits and colours, and it doesn't really look like any cookie dough I've ever made before. And it is going to be tasty. So it's not quite ready to use yet when you've mixed it all through, because it needs to chill for a bit. So I am just going to pop it all into a Tupperware and put it in the fridge for at least 3 hours. Welcome back. Now my cookie dough has been chilling out in the fridge for a couple of hours. If you have time to leave it overnight, that also is pretty good, but 3 hours minimum really. And now it's time for scooping and shaping. So some people like to use ice cream scoops for this. I don't really like doing that because I like to roll things with my hands, and I like to use my scales, which you should have too by now. So I think that the perfect size cookie is a 40-gram ball. So I'm going to start by scooping 40 grams and rolling it. As you can see, I'm spacing them out quite far apart on the baking tray, and that's because they spread quite a bit. So make sure you do that. And another thing you can do, if you don't want to cook all your batter off now, is you can roll them into balls and then put them into the freezer, and that way you can have a constant supply of ready to bake cookie dough balls. And even if you just want one cookie, you can bake that and have it. Oh, it's such a dream. So So that's all my little balls rolled. I've still got quite a bit of batter, but I'm just gonna put that in the fridge for now. And I love how you can see all the little bits of crisps and chocolate and nuggets inside, but I'm gonna just make sure that you can see them by adding a few more on top, mainly for decoration. They are ready to bake and they're looking really exciting already. So they just need to be baked at 170 degrees C. I've already had my oven preheating for a little while and it's a fan assisted oven in case you're wondering. And they need to be baked for 10 to 12 minutes. If you're baking them from frozen, then add a minute or two to that. And they just need to be nice and soft in the middle and golden around the outside. So my cookies have come out of the oven. Oh, they look so good and they smell amazing. And you want to leave them to cool for like a couple of minutes and then you can transfer them to a cooling rack or something like that. And you can leave them as they are, but I am going to jazz them up even further with a little bit of drizzled white chocolate, which I've melted. And with regards to the caramelized white chocolate, if you don't have caramelized white chocolate and you don't have time to make it, you can just use normal white chocolate and you can use anything you like really. You don't have to use anything that I've used at all. Just make sure you've used kind of the same quantities and the cookies should come out roughly the same. So here we go. And they are finished and they're still warm, guys. So this is definitely the time to have a sneaky little taste of your own. Oh, yum. There's nothing like a warm cookie that's just freshly been baked. Mmm, yum, this is so good. The burnt butter in this recipe just takes the cookie to a whole nother level of flavour. It's got a real nuttiness. Speaking of nuts, why don't you put some nuts in as well? It's really, you know, roll out the red carpet for snack items in your cookies. Oh, I can't wait to see your ones on Instagram. Use the hashtag CupcakeJemma so I can see and let me know what you've put in your cookies in the comments box down below. But do give them a go because they are so yummy. I'll be back next week with another video, so I will see you then. Bye.